Welcome to another Cleaning and Cocktails episode, you guys. I'm super excited because you guys know I love the in studio episodes. It just feels more real. Feels like we're here rubbing elbows, rubbing shoulders together, drinking some shots. Thank you to Casa Azul. Today we're going to be throwing down a couple of Nejo shots as well as our tequila sodas. Guys, you guys want to open up the tequila soda?
Sure. On three. One, two, three.
Oh, it's a hot summer day out too right now, guys. Hot summer day. Before this guy already jumps in. So today, guys, I'm excited. I got Bill Fisher, the president of Pacific Floor Care. Again, you guys know the deal. The people that we bring on. This podcast is for the cleaning industry. Today, a special segment because as much as we love to bring cleaning business owners in onto the show and share their story and bring on other fellow tech entrepreneurs, being an entrepreneur for technology myself. It's about manufacturers and suppliers too, right? We're going to talk about a story that Tony has on how important it is to know your manufacturer, build a relationship with you guys, right? And not just about equipment, but the industry, the value that you guys can bring for us. Again, we're going to go into it, but this one's special because, Bill is a new friend of ours, a new peer, a new colleague that we've been getting to know. And I thought it'd be great to bring you on and share your story, 40-plus year story in the industry. But before we do, we got to take our shot here, boys.
Okay.
While the tequila is nice and cold.
All right, to you, Bill.
Cheers.
To
you guys.
Great future.
Salute.
Okay.
Salute.
Oh, that's good.
Woo! All right. So, Bill, if you don't mind sharing a little bit about the journey, 40-plus years. Don't go too far on us here, but hit us on some milestones on you never left the industry, and if you did, you came right back. How did it begin, and what's got you so hooked into the facilities industry?
Well, when I graduated from college in 1980, my first ambition was to play pro basketball. Most people don't know this about me, but I played for Mississippi State down in the SEC.
Point guard, shooting guard.
I was a point guard.
Point guard.
Okay.
And
Right.
and I came back, played in the Baker League in Philadelphia, a summer pro league for a year, and then I turned to business. My background was marketing, sales and marketing, and I looked for a job. The first job I came across was a sanitary supply company.
Yeah.
In Pleasantville, New Jersey. So I joined them and started to learn the industry. It's a great industry we're in. I think people have a tendency to discount how fortunate a lot of us are, especially myself, to be in the business for 42 years. But I started in distribution, and then I went over and got in manufacturing. I was with Windsor Industries back before Karcher bought them, and they were out in Englewood, Colorado, and we were very fortunate. We had 2 or 3 machines that really catapulted that company. I left there, and I'm now in Indianapolis. I've been in Indianapolis for 26 years. I ran HP Products, which was a very big Midwest distribution company, for about 4 years. And then what I did was I started my own business. So I had my own janitorial business for about 8 years.
I didn't know that. Okay.
And it was called Intelligent Cleaning Systems, and grew that business. I sold it to a big packaging company. After I sold it to the packaging company, I was looking possibly to retire. I got involved with Larry Hines, who's the owner of Pacific, who I've known for years, and started doing some consulting work for him. The consulting work led to, would you be interested in coming up and running the company? So it was a very difficult decision for me because I was starting to wind down a little bit.
Yeah.
But
because being a business owner it's stressful.
It is.
Add some years to you.
A lot of people don't realize how stressful it is to own your own company.
Oh, yeah.
Because, it's all on you.
Oh, yeah.
Everything from the bankers, the loans, and the key to success is the people.
Yeah.
Most importantly,
This is a people industry.
It's a people industry,
Yeah.
and you build relationships through the years. I'm fortunate for 42 years to have built a lot of strong relationships, both on the distribution side, the manufacturing side, the contracting side. And you guys are sitting in, I think, in a catbird seat because a lot more in the future is going to turn to outsourcing. It's tough to find people. They have a difficult time training. They don't have training set up for their people that come in. So it becomes a very difficult chore for in-house providers, self-provide.
So that's a great point, Bill, because so people that are listening and understand when you mean outsourcing, so a lot of commercial properties or commercial property management or facilities, big corporate facilities, campuses, they have an in-house team, and they'll service as much as they can. But you're saying you feel because the fight for talent is tough, and I feel like you got to have a passion to own a business in the cleaning industry, and a lot of those companies that may not be their passion, right? They're in charge of the property and the facility. So you see opportunity for a lot of BSCs and cleaning contractors?
Absolutely. The trend is continuing to move towards, outsourcing.
It's talent, I believe, too, though, because, when you brought up the point, Larry had asked you, hey, come join the team. I would do the same thing. If I knew somebody was talented and could bring a lot more to what we're doing, of course I want them, and I'm going to figure out a way. And I'm going to try to make things easier for them to make life easier for us. You know what I mean? So I could completely understand why he would go after you.
And
100%.
So timeout. I'm looking at Tony and I realized I did not introduce Tony. You guys know. If you don't know, he is the Rosa and Rosalato. He is my Mexican MacGyver, our Mexican MacGyver. Totally forgot.
Yeah,
you're gonna be seeing him more. He's gonna be popping in more often, you guys. But no, you're gonna see why I brought Tony on for this episode, especially too. So, Bill, you 40 plus years. You on the supplier to distributor side. You came from the sales side. Owning a I did not know that. So owning a janitorial company, I gotta believe gave you even more of a value add for us as BSCs and janitorial companies are customers of Pacific Floor Care. Mm-hmm. Does that allow you to kind of have some relevancy when you're sitting at the other side of the table talking to us about why machines or equipment or floor care programs should be so important for a BSC? And then I'm going to elaborate on that, but do you feel like it's giving you a little bit more oomph to talk to us?
It has. I've learned through the years that labor is such a critical component, whether you have an in-house operation or you own a building service contractor. It's the labor that's going to make the difference. I always tell everybody that the outcome, what everybody looks at as far as the outcome. Everybody wants a clean, shiny floor, but nobody really, I guess, looks at it and says, "Well, how did they get to that? What did they have to do to get to that?"
Yeah.
Well, what did it look like before? Or what was the process? I get it.
Before and afters are.
But the interim.
Yeah.
And when you look at the outcome, people don't care how you got there as long as the outcome is what is acceptable.
I got a shiny floor.
So what we try to do at Pacific is we produce equipment to get you there faster. So if that means it's going to cut your cost down in half, but you give the same outcome, that's critical for building service contractors. Because a lot of times it's in the scope of work.
Yeah.
So for example, if you could push out stripping and recoating floors, instead of doing it once a year, you do it once every 2 years. If you can do that with a system, a mechanized cleaning system, you're going to be a much more profitable company.
Yes, maintaining that shine, that consistency, because then you're still billing for it, whether it's 2 times a year or whatnot. But if you maintain it and it looks shiny the whole time, the client just cares about their floor being shiny. So it's keeping it at that level. But how did you get it to that level, And it's through companies like you guys. I feel like we've learned so much about a lot. we've learned what not to do, and
Well, many times.
many times. But we've also learned, who to partner with and why. And the whys are the communication. I know if I call Bill, you're gonna answer.
Sure.
You're gonna get me what I need. If I have an issue with a floor or I need advice on equipment or anything, I know I can go to you to get me that info. And I think that's a huge part of who you're gonna go with, who your supplier is, and making sure that they got your back to get the job done.
Yeah. So for context, Bill, if you could actually, people may not know Pacific Floor Care. So maybe touch on a little bit, like what is the niche of Pacific Floor Care? Or what type of equipment would a contractor be purchasing from you or testing out and demoing?
Our main portion of our equipment line is auto scrubbers. And when you take a look at an auto scrubber, it's got to be simple, durable, reliable, and most importantly, it's got to perform. But there are various things that are costs associated with an automatic scrubber that, when you look at wet batteries, why did everybody go from wet batteries to AGM batteries? AGM batteries are more expensive. They don't perform as well as a wet. The reason they went away from a wet battery is because maintenance on those batteries, nobody maintains the batteries.
100%.
So it's a huge
How many batteries
expense.
everybody?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So what we did as a company is we came up with a solution. It's called Battery Shield. And what Battery Shield does is very simple. It closes, it seals the lead acid batteries, and we have electrodes that go down into the batteries. It measures when the cell in the battery is low. Now, we also realize that we put a light up on the control panel when you're operating the machine. That light will come on and illuminate and basically indicate to the operator, hey, the battery cell is low. But what we did is we went one step further. So what we did was we realized they may not be looking at the light. They just keep going.
They just keep going. Yeah.
So what we did is we disengage, it automatically disengages the brush. So now they can't clean
They
anymore.
can't clean them. It's stuff. It's
So now they say, well, something's wrong with the machine.
Right.
They look at the light, then they take it back. They basically, we have a pump, they pump up the distilled water in the machine. It engages the brush again. So what we are able to do is we warranty our lead acid batteries for 3 full years. So it eliminates that concern. It eliminates the maintenance issue. We do a lot of that with our organization. We look at different ways to make it cost-effective for business owners like yourself.
Now,
That's
Bill,
huge.
now let's go to, again, a lot of, our community is a lot of small BSCs. We have a lot of mid-large contractors that we talk with, we bring on here, we talk shop with and that listen in. But for the most part, a lot are the smaller BSCs. What would you say or recommend to a building service contractor, whether they're residential, commercial, they're residential trying to do commercial? Floor care could be intimidating, and it could be overwhelming for a new business owner that's, trying to learn how to add services, right? I know that's how, when we grew, but it was because Tony really took it upon himself to learn the floor care game and show me, and we put ourselves in a good position. But what about for those solo business owners that are really trying to elevate their business and grow? Adding floor services is crucial, and in our opinion, I think it is what elevates your
Yep.
business. What are the steps that they should take, or how should they educate themselves, or not do what we did, where we went and bought machines without even trying them? They sat and they're in the
They
graveyard
just
right
look
now.
good. They
Like, what
look
do you
good,
think?
and we saw a video, and we're like, oh, we could do the same thing, but, well, we
So-
learned the hard way.
So what would you recommend?
I think this. I think, first of all, you've got to find the people.
Yeah.
You got to find the people that want to, because everyone discounts our industry. Nobody really looks at our industry as a professional industry,
Yeah.
but it is in fact a professional
Very
industry.
professional.
Yep.
It's, you just ask, for example, the packaging people, that industrial packaging, why are they not getting involved in selling janitorial? Why they're not getting involved? Because it's a lot more difficult than they thought.
Yeah.
So a lot of people look at this industry and say, well, it's an easy industry to get into, but it's really not.
No.
And a lot of that has to do with floor care. It's not the consumables. It's not the paper and the soap. I mean, that's, it's where everyone looks at and they determine whether the facility's clean or
Yeah,
not. And
it's
that's
floors.
basically on the
That's
floors.
our number one complaints, our floors.
It's a number one
Yeah.
complaint.
Yeah.
So what I would say to building service contractors that are starting out or want to get into the business, the first thing you got to do is determine what type of program, and you've got to put together a program on hard floor and carpet. You got to basically get your operating procedures down first. Then you can start plugging in some equipment. When I had my own business and I was dealing with contractors in Indianapolis, I would say, look, you're going to go out and you're going to bid on a contract, and you're going to bid it to win. And then when you get it, you're going to say, God, I just don't know if I'm going to make the money.
No, it happens all the time.
So then what I used to do when I had my own business, I said, you go ahead and get it. And then I'm going to come in and we're going to take a look at the standard operating procedures and we're going to make some tweaks to it. We're going to add some different equipment, different programs to basically make you profitable. And that's what I used to do when I had my business. It's very, very important. Everyone bids, building service contractors out there, it's a very competitive business, first of all. And to differentiate yourself, it's called retention.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's the differentiation.
Yeah.
If you're in a company, you're in your in a business that you were awarded that business, and you could retain that business, you build your brand.
Yes.
You build the brand.
Yeah.
But what happens is everybody gets into the situation of bidding it, and then they start trying to do it with less people.
Cut
And
hours,
you
cut
cut hours,
big
and,
time,
then,
yeah.
and then what takes place is that the facility goes down a little bit,
And then they go and
and
turn
then
over.
they give you a 30-day,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden you come back in, you say, give me a chance, you send a bunch of people over there, you buff it up, clean it up, and then it happens again because you just can't make the money. So what I would say with building service contractors that are small and getting into this business and want to grow is know your cost, which is most important, and find the people that want to help you grow your business.
Yeah.
Sincerely want to help you grow your business. That's not about just selling you stuff,
Yeah.
selling you product.
No.
That's about going in and helping you, even from a lead standpoint. I mean, building service contractors should be looking at their suppliers as, okay, get me some business.
Oh, we just
All
talked
right.
about that.
Yeah.
No, it's the truth. Like, yeah, at the, don't even know if I told you, but at the conference that we had in DC, Bill, like, one of the suppliers stood up and asked, what could we do? And the question was, well, you don't concentrate so much on saving us money with what you guys are selling us,
Mm-hmm.
right? I mean, yes, cents per roll, cents per this, that, it will matter. But if you actually helped us earn more revenue and add more contracts to our portfolio, that's important, right? Because you're in some of the clients that are looking for services anyways. So that's where the value really is.
You know the clients.
Yeah.
And
No low
and-
bidding. Like, low bidding would just hurt your company and the industry.
Well, yeah,
I
so-
always, like, the low bidding,
Yeah.
don't do
So
it.
before
Don't
we
do
take
it.
before we take a pause, Bill, what about this? I heard it from a gentleman, I think it was Ed Selko, who I jumped on a call with one time, and he's like, Rick, you again, low bidding. No, you should not be low bidding. But bid to win, and once you're in, you said it. Now assess,
Yeah.
right? Now figure out, how do I keep this account? How do I not cut corners, but like, what does a battery backpack vacuum do for me to save me 15 minutes per 5 days per week per 4.33 times? Like, start doing the math. But we got to bring people like you in, right? Or other professionals that floor care or dwell time or just things that we just can't paper or pen on paper or a slide deck or presentation or even software technology. Some of that stuff can't help. It's the tangibles, the pieces that we can touch. That ends up helping us, right?
It does. And with maintenance equipment, the one thing that in the building service contracting trade, there's a lot of turnover. whether you like it or not, there's turnover. And that's just the way of the business. So the simpler you could make your standard operating procedures, the simpler the equipment that you purchase. And, I don't understand why a lot of people look at price. Because price is not the total cost of ownership of what you're trying to accomplish in your business. It's how much is it going to cost me for the term or 36 months of that investment.
Yeah.
That's the key to it. Because if you buy cheap and you start putting a lot of money into say, for example, a piece of equipment, you're going to end up paying it for it anyway.
Oh, yeah.
So,
Yeah. So we're going to take a pause. All right, guys, we're back. So we were touching on a great subject, and I want to dig deeper into it. And we said it earlier, Bill. We were talking about floor care services. To me, is a crucial piece of business. That's how we really started to scale and grow. It's a profitable business. But like I mentioned during the break, was I get a lot of messages from a lot of business owners that Rick, I want to launch floor care. I want to start adding some special services to my business. Which one should I do? Should I do carpet? Should I do tile and grout? Should I do VCT strip and wax? And at first, I would just tell them, do it all, start it all. But to your point, what you said earlier, I started to realize, but who is in charge of it? Like, I was in a great position because I had Tony that took it upon himself to lead the charge for our floor care division. And we'll talk about concrete coating next. But I had the right person that took that leap of faith and led the charge. You touched on it. I mean, what is it about having the right person though, that a cleaning, should it be the owner themselves do it first so they learn and then they learn how to price it? Or is it that they should find somebody else? Like, what do you think are some steps they should take as they're venturing?
You make a very valid point. If it's a small company, the owner's got to get totally engaged from the very beginning. I haven't met any owners out there that haven't rolled up their sleeves initially to get it done. But
mine are still rolled up. Yeah.
But what they'll do is they'll learn and they'll be able to transfer what they've learned to the right individual, and that will cut down the time that they have to really get the right individual and get them up to speed right away. And you only learn out there from doing it yourself.
Yeah, and Tony, think about it. We know, if I didn't learn everything that we learned together, we failed many times.
Yep.
We have the number one story ever. We charged $650 for a VCT strip and wax, and we were there for 24 hours.
Yeah.
Lost.
24.
And they were happy.
It was actually, I think, 18 hours, but it was 3 of us there for 18 hours.
Bill,
we thought we were going to be out of there in 8 hours.
I didn't dilute the stripper. We used the square scrub for the first time with no training.
Yeah.
It was a debacle, but we learned a lot. But it was us, though. It was our time. Our time was spent. We didn't go, spend money on somebody else to do it. So I do believe, you're right. If it's a smaller business, the owner needs to buy in. But when it comes to trusting another person, that's where I want to jump to you, Tony, is we've seen success, right?
Yeah.
Is you wanted to launch concrete coating forever, Bill. I mean, he'd been talking about it for like 4 years now.
Yeah.
But at the time, you weren't that person to do it though. So, and he was very honest. And he said, Rick, I want to do it, but it's not me. So when the time comes, in comes Epi.
Yeah.
Right? Shout out to Epi.
We'll get him on
the
here,
right,
so,
the
yeah.
right person, the right mindset, the right leadership, the right knowledge of the product. It was passionate, with Tony being there, helping him from the operational and
Yeah.
the back end. Like, again, we put the people in place. This thing is off and running.
It's
like, what do you got to
timing.
say? How excited are you about launching that?
Oh, it's I think it's appreciating I guess the phrase, things are gonna happen when they're supposed to happen. You try to do it on your own time, that doesn't mean it's necessarily the right time. So if we were to try to do it when I wanted to before, because I've been wanting to do it for years, and the bandwidth just wasn't there. But plus, or fast forward, 2-3 years, Nico Epi comes into the picture, and we were at a better place as a company, and us going through trials and tribulations with floors, and me learning it, and then building our current team, gave me the confidence to say, all right, now is the right time, and to back Nico and Epi up, and vice versa. And he was the one that was knowledgeable in this industry. I thought I knew what concrete coating was, what epoxy is, just from doing it a few times, but I had no clue. I know for a fact I'm going to learn this industry every day that I'm out there doing a job. I'm willing to learn. I'm going to learn. I'm never going to know it all. But somebody that's a lot more knowledgeable now and has been doing it for years was the right person
Yeah.
to put in the mix. And then we're off and running now. We just got our new spot in Franklin Park.
Yeah.
We got our own little location. We have 5 guys on the team, and we just did a big job in Bloomington.
Yeah.
A big basketball job. It was a huge undertaking, but it was believing in the team and their processes and getting it done, and we
Yeah.
did. And to me, I was getting married that next weekend, so
This is no joke. During the wedding week.
yeah, so
He's out there.
but
doing
this
the
was
work.
crazy though. I feel like it was a very monumental and like great time in my life personally, because I felt like the stars aligned. You know what I mean? It was like perfect, because we took on this job that we knew wasn't going to be easy. The guys kicked ass out there. They did an amazing job. And 2 days before the wedding, we get the green light. Great job, guys, from the client. Four Seasons Gym in Bloomington. And the guy, Tony, he's an amazing guy. And he's like, man, you guys really came through. So it's putting the right people in place, backing them up, and everybody believing in, the end goal,
Yeah.
in each other. So, yeah.
So that was new for us, Bill. So from your perspective, before, did you want to add something to that?
I think what you ventured into is something that a lot of the building service contractors shouldn't be afraid of. All right? A lot of times people are, when they look at concrete, for example, concrete and polishing concrete was almost like a standalone. Your typical janitorial supply or janitorial service companies didn't want to get involved in that because they were too concerned about ruining a floor. What I would say to your group here is that you never have to be concerned about ruining a floor, first and foremost, because you could always go back and correct it.
No.
Yeah.
All right. But I applaud you guys for getting involved with concrete. You're following a trend. I mean, if you go into Lowe's, you go into Home Depot, you start going into even a lot of the ancillary facilities out there. Schools, for example. I mean, schools in the future will be mostly
popping up.
concrete.
Yeah. No,
And
I agree.
Every
it's not
restaurant
going
you
to
go to,
stop.
everywhere you
It's
go,
not going to
yeah.
stop. It's going to go that way.
Well,
Another
the
thing,
maintenance, because of the maintenance, right?
Correct.
Like
Yeah.
that.
and another thing that is when you take a look at the trends in floor coverings and floors per se themselves, is the luxury vinyl tile.
Yeah.
Now, I was at a conference in Vegas and talked to Shaw. Shaw's one of the largest.
Shaw Aircraft.
Yeah. And they indicated to me that 60% of the industry is producing LVT now.
Wow.
So the reason they're
And
producing
that was
LVT,
VCT before.
it was
right?
VCT, it was carpet, a lot of carpet, and they're moving to the luxury vinyl tile. Now there's some things to be concerned about when you're cleaning luxury vinyl tile. All right, luxury vinyl tile has a membrane on it from the manufacturer. Now I can't tell you
rid
how
of
many
that,
times
yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've been out in the field because I'm out there a lot, that I see people using abrasives on the
Yeah.
luxury, so they're taking the membrane off. So what's going to take place is going to be warranty issues
Yeah,
down the
warranty's
road.
gone out
Yeah.
the window. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So it's I think with building service contractors, you put together a program that you become a specialist on luxury vinyl tile.
You already answered my question that I was going to ask you, so keep going.
Luxury vinyl tile is all textured. It comes out manufactured that way. So when you're using a mop and you don't have a clean mop, all of that dirt gets embedded in there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Yeah, there's like grooves inside
grooves.
the
Oh,
LVT.
big time.
That's the way it's produced. So there's grooves in that. So the thing about that would be if you have a job and you're cleaning on a daily basis, you want to make sure you clean it properly, and you could differentiate yourself.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, quite frankly, we're looking at our organization with our scrubbers to produce a squeegee type design that's going to pick up more than a normal scrubber, and then a brush design that's going to be soft enough to get into those nooks and crannies,
Yeah.
but it will suspend the soil on the LVT,
Okay.
and the strong vacuum will pick it up. Because a lot of times with the vacuum, what takes place is the vacuum's not strong enough, so all the dirt you suspend,
It like
it just
drops
goes back,
back
it just
down.
goes back
It goes
down.
back down. So
Yeah,
So
let
Bill,
me-
so we're talking. So we were going to jump into innovation. This is already kind of innovation and what's new in the space. We're going to
That's
touch
what I
on
was
the
gonna chime
machinery.
in, yeah.
But Bill, real quick on because I like where you were going with the LVT, the program and stuff. Now, we specialize. We love healthcare facilities, right? And when I go to some of these facilities, I do notice there's like 4 different hard surface floor types within a facility. You got rolled linoleum tile, you got LVT, you got like how do as a BSC that I'm going in there to bid and try to differentiate myself? What questions can a BSC or a cleaning company ask the client? They may not know, they may not have the answers though, but looking at your floor type, is there any kind of information that they're given, or do they have to be there when the building was built to have like the manufacturing? I don't know if it's the ingredients or like how to maintain this floor.
Well, you need to take a look at the warranty, if you can get to the warranty.
Yeah, see, sometimes you can't have-
Most people don't even have the.
They don't even have-
yeah.
So it's beyond that. But I think, to me, to differentiate yourself as a building service contractor from the rest of the crowd is, I think you got to take it's got to be visible. It's got like a picture. When you go in, you got to take pictures and relate those pictures to the customer and say, is this acceptable to you? Is this the type of floor you want? Everybody bids out contracts and goes in, and it's almost blind.
It is, yeah.
It's almost blind
You're
to
right.
what-
Yeah, you're just
and-
seeing
and-
a lot of times. You just see the square footage, and it's hard. Okay, that's it. But you don't break the floor down. You don't get the chance to take those photos all the time.
Yeah, so it's
after.
funny, but when I had my own business and I was working with a lot of contractors, they would get a new job, and when they got the new job, if there was an issue in the bathroom, if there was an issue anywhere in the facility, they wouldn't blame the contractor that was there before. They
Yeah.
automatically turned and said, "Well, you did that."
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
So, I relate back to taking pics, on, especially when you get a new contract. Before you take that contract, I'd walk that facility and I'd take pics of all the issues that, and then bring that to light before you even get the keys to.
That's a good
No,
point.
that's not a bad idea. Like, if you have the time,
That's a
right?
good
But that's
point,
like,
yeah.
I'm trying to think about when you not maybe buy a car, or you know how you take the rental away. They take all the pictures, and they already know.
What
Hey,
it
this
looks
is
like
leaving
before
the
when you
lot.
brought it back, yeah.
We monitored everything that you're about to take over right now when you drive away. I mean, that's like, I've never
Yeah.
thought of that though. Like taking some pictures of, hey, I've noticed the marks here, those marks, that cove base, that's like, I'm taking this on, but just so you know, we noticed, or we're aware
Yeah, it's not
that the
my
floor
group
is.
that came in,
Yeah.
is gonna come
But
in.
I will say though, for the BSEs, it's doing your homework and knowing the type of floors you're getting into. So if it's an LVT, you have to know that you can't use a certain brush for it because it's going to ruin it. It's knowing what type of floor and what processes you have to do to maintain it or to revamp it, if it's allowed. But it's going through people like you guys
Yeah.
for advice.
Well-
It's finding out, what's out there that I can do for this type of floor. But I will say, and I want to go into this, hopefully you can elaborate a lot more on it, Bill, but this new machine that you guys have, especially we were talking about concrete and epoxy, and in a lot of the kitchens that we do, or healthcare, they're held to a higher standard where it's got to be spotless, it's got to be clean. And this bad boy, I can't wait to put it in action every day because I already know that it's got different wands, colors. It's going to do a lot for the industry. So can you chime in and tell us and tell everybody what it is? Just lead them into it because I mean, I can't wait to get
So,
it.
and this is not, so everybody knows too, like, again, floor scrubbers, auto scrubbers, there's many out there, different sizes, shapes, looks, colors. Innovation is part of your guys' strategy, so.
Oh, great point.
This is an innovative product, right?
Heck yeah.
I mean, could you elaborate a little bit on it?
Sure. The thing that our company focuses on, first and foremost, is that we listen to the voice of the customer. So what we do is we solicit a lot of input from the people that are working in the trenches, late at night cleaning. And we get a lot of suggestions and direction on what they need. So this new product called Quick Scrub came from the quick serve restaurants. We've dealt with a liability company that came to us and said, hey, look, we have an idea. And the idea is to eliminate the mop bucket wringer.
Please.
Because what you do, everybody does it. I would do the same thing, so I'm not casting any doubt on anybody, any cleaner out there. But changing out the dirty water.
Yeah, like.
Cross-contaminated,
Yeah,
cross-contaminated.
cross-contaminated. You
The
have a
minute
ten-
you drop it in, right? Like it's
Yeah.
it's
You have a
cross-contaminated.
tendency to say, well, maybe I can get in a couple more rooms. And everybody's like that. It's just not, I'm not
It's time.
singling out people.
It's time, right? They don't have the time.
So when they came to us, they had an idea, and we whiteboarded it. And in 4 hours, we had a design.
Wow.
And we're very fortunate to have great engineers at Pacific. And they took that and brought it to life.
Yeah, it's cool. It
No,
is. It's a
awesome.
badass.
Yeah, it's
It's
awesome.
I love it.
And,
Yeah.
The biggest issue. You have micro scrubbers out there. You have the stand up scrubbers. The issues with all those is that they talk about the fact that it's a replacement for the mop bucket wringer, but you can't get it in around commodes. You can't get it under commodes. You can't get it up against baseboards.
Like you still need like the mopping mechanism piece. Like
We don't
tool,
want to.
right?
Here's the thing: changing the procedure of mopping a floor is monumental because everybody's accustomed to doing a figure eight, wringing it, dipping it, doing it again. All right. So what we did is we came up with a machine that you still do the same process, all right, but when you flip the handle, the squeegee's there, so then you go like this and you pick it all up. you're not leaving any dirt on
the
the
floor.
floor. Now, what does that do for everybody? Well, it will eliminate restorative methods. For example, a restroom. When you mop a restroom, the floor has a tendency to go down until then somebody complains, and then you have to do restorative cleaning. With this machine and eliminating the mop bucket and wringer, you're going to keep that at a peak level constantly. Now, what that's going to do for you is that's going to differentiate you as a company. Because what the biggest complaint in commercial buildings is that the restrooms are dirty.
Oh, number one area.
And normally it's the floor. They look at the floor, and if the grout is discolored a little bit, or there's a little dirt on the stone, or if there's,
You can just see the
urine,
film. The
you
film.
see the film,
Yeah.
and there's where your complaints start. So if you can eliminate those complaints by inserting a mechanized system to recover the soil on a daily basis. Tony, you talked about food areas, kitchen
Yeah.
areas, commercial kitchens.
Yeah.
I was with a large contractor that does acute care, and we talked about the kitchen areas. And he said, Bill, do you realize that we can't get underneath the equipment that they use to cook? We can't get underneath the tables because they only have a 4-inch.
Yeah.
So you know what we do? We hire out a specialty company that comes in on our dime to clean underneath all those areas.
Yeah.
So when we showed them the machine, they said, "Oh, can you imagine?" They said, "We can't imagine how much money this is going to save us."
Yeah.
We
When
eliminate-
our team sees it, when we were at the convention and I see our team and their eyes light up. One of our aces, Diana, was like, Tony, you gotta come see this. And then I have some of the other floor guys come and, Tony, you gotta come look at this. And I go and I say, right, let's get it. Because I seen the excitement in their eyes and how much time they're gonna save, and everything you just said right now came from them. And those are the people
They're going to be
in
using the
shed.
machine.
Those are the
yeah.
people using it. Yeah.
So I would rather come to my client with savings. That before pre-renewal, right? Before that contract's coming up, I want to have a game plan with my team. We know they're going to ask. Let's have it ready. Let's have a savings ready. The only place, or one of the few places that savings can come from is floor, because you can't, machines can't help you wipe tables down. They can't help you reline garbage bags. They can't help you wipe surfaces. They can't help you, vacuum. Like, there's so many things that, robotics or equipment can't help you with. It's so human, right? Floors. Equipment can help you do things quicker, better, faster. So the fact that we had you on to be able to talk about the new piece of equipment and just these strategies and programs. Before we end, though, I did want to let you get a chance to speak on, because we didn't even talk about it, is the training program. So you've talked about value add. We've talked about how important relationships are with our manufacturers and you guys are a part of the team. When we go do a walkthrough, you're included at some capacity with us, right? But can you just share with everybody just that extra value that you guys give too with the training programs that you have, and then anything else that you want to share and take us away with?
Yeah, when you look at training, the key to a successful organization in the cleaning industry is how well trained your people are and how comfortable they feel in the cleaning process, because it's all labor. I mean, 90% of a budget out there, in a facility is labor. So if you have educated folks cleaning on your behalf, you're going to get the outcome. They're going to feel rewarded. A lot of people don't talk about, and I'll circle back on the training, but a lot of people don't talk about the personal reward that somebody gets when the folks come in the next day and say, boy, that floor looks absolutely
huge.
beautiful.
It's like
And-
you smile.
Yeah.
Internal
And
smile.
it's,
Ear to ear.
it's big. And
Yeah,
it's
huge.
So, but how do you get there? You get there from the manufacturers have to spend more time with your companies to train your people and educate your people. You know, when you take a look at the industry's changed through the years. I remember when I first joined, training was paramount, from a manufacturer to a supplier, and a supplier to their
To
customers.
the customers, yeah.
And it seemed to be over the years that disappeared. It almost became whereby everybody was pointing the fingers at one another to train, and no training was done.
Yeah.
So we've done a huge job in on-site training. We believe in on-site training.
Yeah.
It's something to bring people into a facility, sit them around, the floor's already prepped and all of that. We like to get out and actually do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's-
I will
think about
speak
it,
on
it's better,
that behalf,
Tony,
though,
because how
because-
hard is it for you to train the staff?
Oh,
If
big
you
time.
barely just got trained.
What if I don't
Like,
know the machine
You don't know
to
the
its
machine.
like
Yeah.
what its capacity, what it could do? But I will speak on the behalf of Bill and the Pacific team. We just landed a big account, and you guys were there. You guys showed up. You sent somebody there to train Julian, to teach him, and they brought machines. They were there.
Yeah.
So it's not him just talking the talk. I can vouch, and so can our team, that
Yeah.
they showed up, and we appreciate you guys for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So
you.
that
Well, you're welcome.
merits
Yeah,
a shot.
Okay.
yeah, for
And
sure.
a closeout to the show. So guys, thank you for joining us again on another episode of Cleaning Cocktails. Bill, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having
being here with us. What we always do is we share your information within the episode. I hope you're okay with that.
Sure.
If you guys have any questions or you want to reach out to Pacific Floor Care and see if they're in your area, you guys are national,
We
right?
are.
Yeah,
So you can
Reach
find them.
out.
So again,
you'll
thank
thank
you
us
guys.
later. Reach
Right.
out.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Bill,
guys.
Salute.
salute. Thank you guys for joining us.